NRG, I do have to call out Justin. He said that he was worried about Cloud9. Never once mentioned you guys. Do you have any words for that?
We'll see them in the finals.
Rocket League has certainly solidified its spot as one of the most exhilarating titles in esports. With its initial release back in 2015, the pro scene has boomed, with the title operating in its 10th competitive season in the last 5 years. In this episode of Rewind, we take a look back at one of the most breathtaking series to ever take place in Rocket League, the RLCS Season 5 Grand Finals between Dignitas and NRG. Taking a look at the two sets of finalists themselves, both boast a seriously impressive roster, with the main Dignitas team consisting of 3 former world champions in Violet Panda, KDOP and Turbo Pulsar. NRG boasted a seriously stacked team also containing Fireburner, Garrett G and the young prodigy Justin. Prior to delving into the Grand Finals themselves, it's important to highlight both teams' journey to the finals. For context's sake, Dignitas came into the tournament as solid favourites, purely on the strength of their roster alone. From the outset, they did seem unbeatable. The quarter-finals saw Dignitas pitted against Chief Esports Club and made quick work of them, winning the series 3-1 and only conceding 3 goals in the one match they were beaten. NRG came up against Team Envy in the quarters and mirrored Dignitas in winning the series 3-1 and only conceding 3 goals across the entire series, pushing both teams into the semi-finals. The semi-finals saw Dignitas and NRG going against each other in what would be the first of the 2 meetings in the tournament. It was in their initial meetup where NRG took the advantage, edging out the series 3-1 in 4 close games, pushing Dignitas down into the losers round 3 bracket matchup against Evil Geniuses and pushing NRG into the winners final against Complexity, leaving them 1 series away from the grand finals. Dignitas' run to the losers final would see them make quick work of both Evil Geniuses in round 3 and Cloud9 in round 4, beating them in both series as 3-0. Dignitas would then face Complexity in the losers final after NRG put an end to Complexity's run of upsets against G2 and Cloud9 by not dropping a single game and taking the series 4-0. The losers final saw Dignitas coming out on top to secure their spot in the grand finals by winning the series against Complexity 4-2. This wasn't without any cause for concern for Dignitas, however, dropping 2 of the first 3 games in the series, but then were able to close out the final 3 games of the series on top, to set up a monumental rematch against NRG in the grand finals for the World Championships.
The map you are currently looking at is Champions Field, and for one of these teams, they will have their names etched as Season 5 champions. It is going to be NRG versus Team Dignitas.
The initial series of the grand final saw the game go into overtime, which saw Dignitas breaking the deadlock and taking the first game.
Not got it in, but there! It's Turbo Pulsar!
NRG did fight back in the second matchup to draw up the series, however the comeback was over before it started as Dignitas were able to win the next 3 games of the series, making the final score 4-1, which then forced a bracket reset.
It has hit the floor for the last time of Season 5. Let's get into the game. One more best of 7, NRG versus Team Dignitas.
It was Dignitas that struck first, winning the 2 opening games of the final series thanks to goals from Turbo Pulsar in Game 1
Roll out, Turbo Pulsar will open up the scoring.
and KDOP in Game 2.
Open net to Eddymans. 1-0.
NRG were able to claw back the 3rd game with a 0-second goal from Garrett G, bringing the series 2-1 going into the 4th game.
They're in time. Go NRG! Take their first game of the bracket reset.
Game 4 would see Dignitas come out victorious with goals from Turbo Pulsar and Violet Panda.
To try and block because Violet Panda can hit those.
Meaning at this stage, Dignitas were on match point to win the World Championships. However, NRG would answer back in the next 2 games of the series, winning Game 5 5-2 and Game 6 3-0.
There is the third.
This would push the series into Game 7, with both teams needing the win to take home the World Championships.
The tension is killing me, but for the last time this season, Coverbox Arena, are you ready?
The final match, taking place on Champions Field, started with an unfortunate own goal from Turbo Pulsar within the first 22 seconds of the match,
He's put it in his own net!
seeing NRG taking a near immediate lead. Violet Panda would score an equaliser just under 2 minutes later, bringing the score back up to 1-1.
From Violet Panda!
The next minute of the game would see goals scored on both sides, with Garrett G regaining the lead for NRG,
Side to Garrett!
but Dignitas were quick to reply thanks to a goal from Turbo Pulsar.
Lays it off to Turbo! Goal!
With only 4 seconds left, Turbo Pulsar took the lead for Dignitas, which led everyone to believing the championship match was all but wrapped up.
Follow! Scored!
However, thanks to a moment of brilliance from NRG, which saw them keeping the ball in the air for a staggering 13 seconds, and a moment of brilliance from Justin saw NRG equalise, taking the game into a sudden death overtime and creating one of the most epic moments in Rocket League history.
Turbo Pulsar there! Bounces into the corner! NRG still around! Justin is there for the shot! Justin! Justin! This is Rocket League! They did it! The Rookie of the Year! Ladies and gentlemen, my voice is gone, but my spirit is high. We have overtime.
It would only take Turbo Pulsar a mere 22 seconds in overtime to score the final goal, which finally crowned Dignitas not only as world champions but also as a world-class threat for the tournaments to come. Dignitas' win over NRG would go on to being one of the most spoken about series in Rocket League history, with no indication of it slowing down anytime soon. So that concludes this episode of Rewind. Be sure to let us know down in the comments what game from any esports you'd like us to cover next. And also be sure to like, subscribe and hit that bell notification and stay locked into GGRecon for everything esports.